Hello, and welcome to Sleepy Nourishment. I'm really glad you found your way here tonight. Maybe today was long, or maybe you're someone who likes to let the mind wander, following quiet thoughts and gentle rhythms instead of forcing yourself to fall asleep. Either way, this moment is just for you. You don't need to do anything at all. Simply rest. Let your breathing slow down. Let your shoulders soften and allow your body to feel a little lighter, as if gravity itself has decided to be kind tonight. Because this evening, we are not here to rush. We are here to drift. And as we move gently through this journey, whether you are awake or already halfway into sleep, you are still part of these natural rhythms. Everything continues, softly, slowly. May this be a calm space for you to rest, and I'll be here with you. Tonight, we're not here to analyze sleep or explain it with complicated science. Instead, we'll move slowly through soft, gentle facts about one of the oldest gifts of calm chamomile. A small flower with a quiet scent, used for centuries to ease the mind and invite rest. You don't need to focus. You don't need to remember anything. Each thought can drift by, like petals floating on warm water. So lie down. Let your jaw relax. Let your breath become slow and natural. Now, let your mind drift toward an ancient garden, a place where simple flowers hold deep, hidden wisdom. The word chamomile comes from the ancient Greek Chamomile, which means earth apple. This gentle name was not chosen by accident. When people in the ancient world crushed chamomile flowers between their fingers, they noticed a soft scent that reminded them of ripe apples resting on warm soil. It was familiar, comforting, and quietly sweet. Long before science gave chamomile a chemical explanation, humans were already describing it through their senses. A plant that smelled like fruit growing close to the ground, offering calm instead of excitement. Even its name carries the memory of softness and the promise of rest. In ancient Egypt, chamomile was considered a sacred plant. The Egyptians associated its golden center with the sun and believed it carried the power of warmth and healing. They offered chamomile flowers to Ra, the sun god, as a sign of respect and devotion. It was used in rituals, in medicine, and even in embalming oils. To them, chamomile was not just a herb. It was a bridge between humans and divine balance. Something gentle enough for the body, yet powerful enough for the gods, resting quietly under the same sun. Ancient Egyptian healers believed chamomile had the ability to cool both the body and the spirit. They used it to treat fevers, infections, and states of inner heat that we might now call inflammation or emotional agitation. There was a belief that chamomile could calm not only human illness, but also the anger of the gods themselves. When the world felt too hot, too loud, or too intense, chamomile was chosen as a remedy of balance. A plant that did not fight fire with force, but softened it slowly until calm returned. In traditional European herbal medicine, chamomile earned a curious nickname. It was called the physician of plants. Gardeners noticed that when chamomile grew near struggling herbs, those plants often appeared stronger and healthier. Whether through soil chemistry, subtle scent, or simple coincidence, chamomile became a symbol of quiet support. It did not dominate the garden. It helped from the side. This reputation carried into human medicine as well. A healer that works best not by overpowering, but by gently restoring balance, one small shift at a time. The Romans welcomed chamomile into their everyday routines. They used it as a fragrance, a medicinal remedy, and an ingredient in calming drinks. Chamomile was applied to skin conditions, digestive discomfort, and states of restlessness. Roman soldiers are believed to have used it to soothe sore muscles after long marches. In Roman culture, chamomile was practical rather than mystical. It was trusted, familiar, and woven into daily life. A reminder that true comfort often comes from small rituals repeated quietly rather than dramatic cures. During the Middle Ages, chamomile was scattered across floors in homes and gathering halls. As people walked, the flowers released their soft aroma into the air. This practice served both practical and emotional purposes. It helped mask unpleasant smells, but it also created a sense of warmth and welcome. Each step released calm. Each movement stirred comfort. In a time when life was often harsh and uncertain, chamomile became part of the environment itself. Not something consumed quickly, but something breathed in slowly throughout the day. Chamomile. Over time, two main varieties of chamomile became widely known: German chamomile and Roman chamomile. German chamomile is the most common type used for tea today, known for its strong aroma and calming properties. Roman chamomile, lower to the ground, carries a softer scent and was often used in herbal lawns and oils. Though different in appearance and strength, both varieties share the same purpose: to comfort the nervous system, to quiet the body, and to invite rest without force. In medieval Europe, monks grew chamomile in monastery gardens. These gardens were places of silence, reflection, and slow routines. Chamomile was valued as a natural sedative, helping calm the mind during prayer and ease the body into rest at night. It fit perfectly into monastic life. A plant that asked for patience, offered gentleness, and worked best when life slowed down. In these quiet gardens, chamomile became associated with stillness and the sacred rhythm of rest. Among the ancient Anglo-Saxons, chamomile was named as one of the 9 sacred herbs. These herbs were believed to offer protection, healing, and spiritual balance. Chamomile's place on this list shows how deeply it was trusted. It was not rare, exotic, or dramatic. It was reliable, a constant presence through illness, stress, and sleepless nights. Sacred not because it was powerful in appearance, but because it consistently brought relief, generation after generation. For thousands of years, chamomile has been used as a natural sleep aid. Across cultures, languages, and belief systems, people return to the same flower when rest felt distant. Long before sleep studies and brain scans, humans already knew its effect through experience. Chamomile did not knock the body into sleep. It invited it. Slowly, gently, with patience. This long history is why chamomile still feels familiar today. Like something the body remembers even before the mind understands. But complete dried chamomile flowers look delicate at first glance, with tiny white petals and a warm yellow center. They feel almost weightless in the palm of your hand, as if they might disappear with a single breath. Yet each small flower carries everything it needs. Aroma, flavor, and calm, all folded quietly inside. There is something reassuring about their simplicity. No bright colors, no sharp edges, just softness. Chamomile does not ask for attention, it waits. And that quiet presence already begins to prepare the body for rest before the water even touches it. When chamomile meets hot water, something gentle happens. The flowers slowly open again, as if remembering their original shape. What once looked dry and fragile becomes alive, floating freely in the cup. This slow transformation is part of the ritual. There is no rush, no sudden change, just warmth, time, and patience. Watching the flowers expand can feel oddly soothing, like witnessing a quiet rebirth. It reminds the nervous system that it is safe to slow down because nothing here needs to be hurried. Chamomile tea turns the water into a soft shade of pale gold. Not bright, not dark, but somewhere in between. The color resembles late afternoon sunlight when the day is already beginning to soften. This visual cue matters more than we realize. Warm colors signal comfort to the brain. They suggest rest, safety, and familiarity. Holding a cup of chamomile feels like holding light that has decided to stay gentle. Even before the first sip, the eyes begin to relax and the body follows quietly behind. The aroma of chamomile is often described as sweet and mild, with notes of apple, honey, and dried grass. It is never sharp, never overwhelming. Instead, it feels familiar, even if you cannot place why. Smell is closely tied to memory, and chamomile's scent often triggers a sense of childhood care and being looked after. As steam rises from the cup, essential oils travel gently into the air, inviting the face muscles to soften and the breath to slow without conscious effort. Unlike many herbal teas, chamomile carries no sharp bitterness. Its taste is naturally soft, with a light sweetness that lingers quietly at the back of the throat. This absence of bitterness makes chamomile easy to accept, even for sensitive palates. The body does not brace itself. There is no tension in the jaw. Each sip flows smoothly without resistance. This gentle flavor profile is one reason chamomile is often given to children and elders. It asks nothing from the body and offers comfort in return. The steam rising from a cup of chamomile tea carries more than warmth. It holds volatile compounds that gently open the nasal passages, encouraging deeper breathing. As the face leans closer to the cup, the muscles around the eyes and cheeks begin to release tension. This simple act can signal safety to the nervous system. Breathing becomes slower, fuller, less guarded. In this way, chamomile works before it is even swallowed. Calm enters through the senses, not through force, but through invitation. Holding a warm cup of chamomile before bed becomes a message to the body. This repeated ritual tells the nervous system that the day is ending. The warmth in the hands, the familiar scent, the quiet moment of pause all combine into a signal of closure. Over time, the body learns this pattern. Chamomile becomes associated with rest, not stimulation. Much like dimming lights or lowering sound, this small habit helps the body gently power down without sudden transitions. Watching chamomile flowers float in a glass teapot can feel hypnotic. Petals drift slowly rising and falling, responding to invisible currents. This movement is soft, irregular, and unforced. It mirrors the rhythm of calm breathing. Visual stillness is rarely complete, but chamomile offers something close. A scene without urgency, without sharp contrast. Allowing the eyes to rest on this gentle motion can lower mental activity, preparing the mind for sleep even before the tea is finished. Chamomile is known for its mildness. Its gentle nature makes it suitable for people of nearly all ages, from children to the elderly. The body does not need to work hard to process it. There is no caffeine, no harsh stimulation, no pressure to stay alert. This universal softness is part of chamomile's reputation. It does not challenge the system, it supports it. In a world that often demands energy, chamomile quietly gives permission to stop and rest. Adding a small amount of honey to chamomile tea changes the experience subtly. The sweetness deepens, the texture becomes smoother, and the warmth feels more comforting. Honey also carries antibacterial properties and can soothe the throat before sleep. But beyond chemistry, honey adds emotional warmth. It turns the tea into something nurturing, almost ceremonial. A reminder of care, of being fed gently. This small addition can make the ritual feel complete, like a soft closing note at the end of the day. Brewing chamomile tea does not require precision or urgency. There is no exact temperature to worry about, no strict timing to obey. The process itself encourages gentleness. Water is heated slowly. Flowers are placed carefully, and then everything waits. This waiting matters. It creates a pause between the noise of the day and the quiet of the night. In that pause, the body begins to soften. Chamomile teaches that rest does not come from effort, but from allowing things to unfold at their own pace. Chamomile is often chosen not only for physical tiredness, but for emotional exhaustion. On days when the mind feels heavy or the heart feels worn down, chamomile offers something close to reassurance. It does not stimulate thought or demand attention. It sits quietly beside you. This emotional softness is why chamomile is associated with comfort rather than energy. Drinking it feels like being told without words that it is okay to stop holding everything together and simply rest. For many people, chamomile tea carries a sense of childhood memory. It recalls moments of being cared for while sick or being gently prepared for bed. Even if the memory is unclear, the feeling remains. This emotional association is powerful. The brain links chamomile with safety, warmth, and protection. Each sip can bring the nervous system back to that early state when rest was allowed and sleep came naturally. This is not nostalgia by accident, but a learned response passed quietly through generations. Chamomile often appears during moments of physical vulnerability. Upset stomachs, mild cramps, restless nights, and anxious thoughts have long been reasons to brew a cup. Its warmth soothes the digestive system, while its aroma calms the breath. During illness, chamomile becomes a gentle companion rather than a cure. It does not promise instant relief. It offers steadiness. Something warm to hold, something familiar to sip, while the body slowly finds its way back to balance. After a few sips of chamomile tea, calm often begins in the chest. Breathing becomes slower, deeper, less guarded. From there, the sensation spreads outward. Shoulders soften. Hands relax. Muscles release tension that had gone unnoticed. This physical response is subtle but real. Chamomile does not overwhelm the nervous system. It gently shifts it, like lowering the volume rather than turning off the sound. The body recognizes this change and responds by letting go. Chamomile is known for its ability to ease mild anxiety, not by stopping thoughts completely, but by changing their intensity. Worries become quieter, less sharp, easier to observe without engagement. This effect feels natural, almost unnoticeable at first. There is no sudden calm, just a gradual softening. For the mind that struggles to slow down at night, chamomile offers a bridge, a gentle transition from activity into rest without force or resistance. For many people, chamomile marks the end of the day. It becomes a closing ritual, a final act before sleep. This symbolic role matters. Repeating the same gentle habit each night trains the brain to recognize when it is time to rest. The day no longer needs to be processed. Problems do not require solutions. Chamomile becomes the period at the end of a sentence, a quiet signal that nothing more is required except sleep. The aroma of chamomile has the ability to awaken memory without images. It can bring back feelings of quiet afternoons, warm kitchens, or summer evenings without naming them. Smell bypasses logical thought, traveling directly to emotional centers of the brain. This is why chamomile feels comforting even when words fail. The scent alone can lower mental tension and invite the body into familiarity. A reminder that rest has existed before and will come again. Warm chamomile tea helps muscles relax gradually. The heat encourages blood flow while the calming compounds reduce nervous tension. This combination can ease tight shoulders, clenched jaws, and stiff limbs. Often people notice relaxation only after it has already happened. The body simply feels lighter, more settled. Chamomile works quietly without drawing attention to itself. It does not demand awareness. It simply creates conditions where relaxation becomes possible. Drinking chamomile before sleep is an act of self-kindness. It is a choice to care for the body and mind without expecting productivity in return. In a culture that values constant motion, this small ritual becomes meaningful. It says this moment matters too. Rest is allowed. Chamomile does not fix everything. It supports. It holds space. And sometimes that is exactly what the nervous system needs to finally let go. In the classic Peter Rabbit story, a mother gives her little rabbit chamomile tea before bed. It is a small detail, but it became a cultural image that many people remember. Chamomile is not introduced as medicine, but as comfort. A gentle way to settle down after a day that felt too chaotic. This kind of storytelling matters. It reinforces the idea that chamomile belongs in bedtime routines, in soft kitchens, in quiet parenting, and in the simple act of caring for someone who needs rest. Because of scenes like that, chamomile became closely tied to the idea of sleep well. Over time, it turned into a shared symbol across households. Even people who have never tried chamomile often recognize it as a bedtime tea. The cultural meaning travels faster than the science. Chamomile represents safety, quiet, and being allowed to pause. In modern life, where screens glow late into the night, that symbol becomes even more valuable. It reminds the mind that sleep is not something to chase, but something to invite. Today, chamomile is often blended with other calming herbs. Peppermint can add freshness and ease digestion. Lavender can deepen the soothing aroma, and valerian root can make the blend feel heavier and more sedative. These combinations are common in modern tea bags because they offer slightly different emotional textures. Some blends feel bright and clean, while others feel warm and drowsy. Blending is a modern habit, but the intention is ancient. People keep searching for the same thing, a gentle bridge into rest. A used chamomile tea bag often gets a second life. After steeping, people cool it down and place it over tired eyes as a simple compress. The warmth and gentle plant compounds can help reduce puffiness, soothe irritation, and encourage the face to relax. This habit is especially common after long days of screen time. Even the act itself is calming. Closing the eyes, feeling the soft weight, and giving the body permission to rest for a few minutes. Chamomile becomes more than a drink. It becomes a small form of care. Chamomile also appears in beauty routines, especially in hair care. Some people rinse their hair with chamomile water to brighten natural highlights, especially in lighter shades. Others use chamomile in skincare because it feels soothing on sensitive or irritated skin. These habits can be practical, but they are also emotional. Chamomile signals gentleness. It says, treat the body kindly. In modern routines filled with harsh chemicals and fast results, chamomile remains slow, mild, and patient. Chamomile grows wild in many places, often in fields and along paths. It looks fragile, but it is resilient. It can survive in rough soil under changing weather and still bloom with a soft yellow center. That contrast becomes part of its meaning. Something that appears delicate yet continues to return. People tend to love plants like that. They feel hopeful. Chamomile becomes a reminder that softness is not weakness. In a modern world that can feel too loud, chamomile shows how gentle things endure. Traditionally, chamomile is harvested in the morning when the flowers are at their freshest. In many places, harvest happens early while the air is still cool and quiet. This timing helps preserve aroma and essential oils. But there is also something poetic about it. Chamomile is gathered when the world is not yet busy. Before engines start, before voices rise. The plant that will later help people sleep is collected in the most peaceful hours of the day. Even the habit of harvesting carries a rhythm of calm. In modern routines, chamomile often replaces late-night caffeine. People who love the comfort of a warm drink but do not want coffee or strong tea choose chamomile instead. It fills the same emotional space. Hands still get warmth. The mouth still gets flavor. The mind still gets a ritual. But the nervous system does not get pushed into alertness. This substitution is one reason chamomile stays popular. It allows people to keep their nighttime comfort habits while gently shifting the body towards sleep. Chamomile travels across cultures, but the intention stays similar. In many homes, it is served after dinner or offered to someone who feels stressed or unwell. Some cultures drink it plain. Others add honey, lemon, or milk. Some call it a sleep tea, others call it a calm tea. Names change, but the emotional role stays steady. Chamomile becomes a universal language of care, a way of saying you have done enough today and now you can rest. For some people, chamomile has become part of a new habit, setting boundaries with screens. They make a cup, and that is the signal to dim the lights, lower the volume, and step away from scrolling. The tea becomes a quiet anchor in a noisy routine. It is not only about what chamomile does chemically, but what it represents behaviorally. A gentle moment that says, the day is closing. The body deserves darkness, softness, and stillness. And slowly, the mind begins to follow. The most important compound in chamomile is called Apigenin. It belongs to a group of plant chemicals known as flavonoids, which are naturally occurring antioxidants. Apigenin is found in high concentration in chamomile flowers, and it plays a central role in the plant's calming effect. Unlike stimulants that push the nervous system, Apigenin works by gently reducing activity. It does not force the body into sleep. Instead, it creates the conditions where sleep can arrive naturally, without resistance or shock to the system. Apigenin acts like a mild, natural sedative. This does not mean it makes the body suddenly heavy or unconscious. Instead, it slows neural signaling in a controlled and gentle way. The mind begins to feel less alert, thoughts lose urgency, and the constant scanning of the environment quiets down. This type of sedation feels familiar to the body. It resembles the transition into sleep that happens when you feel safe, warm, and unbothered. Chamomile supports this shift rather than commanding it. After chamomile is consumed, Apigenin travels through the bloodstream and crosses into the brain. There it begins, interacting with specific neural pathways associated with calm and relaxation. This journey takes time. Nothing happens instantly, and that slowness is part of the experience. As Apigenin reaches the brain, it gradually lowers mental alertness. The mind does not shut off, it softens. The edges of thought blur slightly, making it easier to drift away from active thinking and toward rest. Apigenin binds to benzodiazepine receptors in the brain. These are the same receptors targeted by many prescription sleep and anxiety medications. The difference lies in intensity. Pharmaceutical drugs often activate these receptors strongly, sometimes too strongly. Chamomile through Apigenin binds gently. It whispers rather than shouts. This gentle interaction reduces central nervous system activity without overwhelming it. The result is calm without numbness and sleepiness without disorientation. When these receptors are activated, the central nervous system slows down. Signals become quieter. Muscles receive fewer tension cues. The body shifts away from vigilance. This is why chamomile often feels like a release rather than a push. The nervous system is not being suppressed. It is being reassured. The message is subtle but consistent. Nothing urgent is happening. It is safe to rest now. Over time, the body learns to respond to this message more efficiently. Chamomile has been shown to increase glycine levels in the body. Glycine is an amino acid that helps relax muscles and calm nerve signals. Higher glycine levels are associated with improved sleep quality, especially deeper stages of rest. This is one reason chamomile feels physically soothing. Muscles unclench without effort. The jaw softens. The body feels supported rather than sedated. This effect helps reduce nighttime restlessness, allowing the body to remain still long enough for deeper sleep cycles to unfold. Regular chamomile consumption has been linked to lower cortisol levels. Cortisol is the body's primary stress hormone released during alertness and pressure. When cortisol remains high at night, sleep becomes shallow and fragmented. Chamomile helps gently lower this hormone. As cortisol decreases, the body no longer prepares for action. Instead, it begins repairing, digesting, and restoring. This hormonal shift is essential for true rest. Chamomile supports this transition quietly without triggering rebound effects. Lower cortisol allows the body to move out of fight or flight mode. This survival state keeps the nervous system alert and reactive. Chamomile encourages a shift into rest and digest. Heart rate slows, breathing deepens, digestion improves. Blood flow redistributes toward healing processes. This state is where sleep thrives. Chamomile does not create sleep directly. It creates safety. And safety is what allows the body to finally let go and rest deeply. Apigenin also has anti-inflammatory properties. Inflammation can interfere with sleep by creating discomfort and internal stress signals. By reducing inflammation, chamomile supports the body's nighttime repair processes. This effect is subtle but meaningful over time. Better recovery leads to more stable sleep cycles. The body feels less irritated, less tense, and more willing to remain at rest. Chamomile becomes part of a longer conversation with the body, focused on healing rather than stimulation. Unlike many sleep medications, chamomile does not create dependency. The brain does not adapt in a way that requires increasing doses. There is no chemical pressure to rely on it. This makes chamomile safe for long-term use. The body recognizes it as supportive, not controlling. Sleep remains natural. Mornings remain clear. This absence of dependency is one of chamomile's most valuable qualities. It works with the body rather than replacing its natural rhythms. Chamomile has been shown to improve overall sleep quality. People often report fewer awakenings during the night and an easier time falling back asleep if they do wake. Sleep becomes deeper, more continuous, and less fragmented. This does not always mean sleeping longer. It means sleeping better. The brain spends more time in restorative stages where memory consolidation and tissue repair occur. Chamomile supports these deeper rhythms without altering natural sleep architecture. Chamomile works best when used consistently. Its effects build gently over time. Each night, the nervous system becomes more familiar with the signal of calm. The body learns the pattern. Chamomile becomes part of the circadian rhythm, reinforcing nighttime cues. This cumulative effect is why chamomile feels more effective after repeated use. It is not a one-time solution. It is a quiet partnership with the body, developed slowly through repetition and trust. In the end, chamomile is nature's lullaby. It does not sing loudly. It hums. Its compounds guide brainwaves toward slower frequencies, closer to deep delta sleep. The mind releases control. The body drifts. This is not unconsciousness. It is surrender. Chamomile reminds the nervous system of an ancient rhythm, one that existed long before alarms and screens. A rhythm where night meant rest and rest meant healing. And slowly the body remembers how to sleep. We've just wandered through the calm world of chamomile. From sunlit fields to warm cups held in quiet hands. Along the way, we learned how gentle compounds calm the nervous system. How ancient cultures trusted this flower to bring peace and sleep. Chamomile doesn't force rest. It invites it. Softly, patiently, like a gift offered, not demanded. If your body feels heavier now and your thoughts feel slower, you're welcome to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if someone you care about is searching for deeper sleep or quieter nights, you can share this gentle journey with them. For now, let your eyes close, sleep deeply, and may your dreams be light, as if watched over by the gods themselves.